Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Good morning everyone. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 25th August 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important developments. First of all, we will take overview of all these developments and then we will discuss them one by one and take input relevant to our examination. First of all, men's related articles on page number 6, editorial page, National Automated Facial Recognition System. The article is talking about this NAFRS, the risk and challenges associated with this particular system. At the same time, it is also talking about the way forward. So from polity and governance aspect, how this particular technology is affecting rights of the people, different rights of the people, including fundamental rights and human rights. So this is important from GS2 paper. We will discuss that. Then climate change, a catalyst for Arctic cooperation. Okay, so this article on page number 6, it is talking about the requirement of Arctic cooperation among the different countries, including those in Arctic Council as a permanent members as well as those are having the observer status. So this is important from international relations perspective. At the same time, we have to also understand that there was one question in GS1 paper in mains examination regarding how India is taking interest in Arctic region, the resources of Arctic region in recent times. So from that perspective, geography GS1 paper, how India's interests are involved in that region. So this is also important, right? So GS1 and GS2 paper as well as GS3 paper environment section, how climate change is impacting this Arctic region, that aspect also we have to consider here. Third one, Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, Russian President Putin discusses crisis in Afghanistan. There was telephonic conversation between two leaders and they discussed the crisis that is going on in Afghanistan and cooperation between two countries regarding these developments. Along with that, the National Security Advisor level representatives of BRICS countries, they also had meeting. They had accepted the counter-terrorism plan of BRICS countries, because in next month there will be BRICS meeting and this year India is the president of BRICS summit here. So from that aspect, GS2 paper international relations will discuss the outcome of these meetings. Then Academy Awards, Sahitya Academy Awards for Pillai and Mishra, they have been declared by Sahitya Academy. So what is Sahitya Academy Awards? Basics about that also we have to consider from literature as a part of art and culture. So from prelims examination, this is important. And finally, Tamil Nadu government launches 100 crore urban employment scheme. So yes, recently we had talked about the requirement of urban employment schemes on the line of MG Narega. So similar kind of scheme is launched by the Tamil Nadu government also. A similar kind of scheme is also launched by Himachal Pradesh government. Earlier we discussed one such editorial there also. So we'll have follow up here from governance and government schemes aspect, right? And finally some practice prelims MCQs from these current affairs. Okay, yes, let us discuss these articles one by one. First article, the ugly face of crime fighting move. Okay, so on page number 6, very important article. Okay, so the writer is talking about how some of the technologies are impacting rights of the people. This is important from polity and governance perspective. This is, let's say, being discussed. Why in news? Because the Pegasus spyware has brought in the concern in news regarding the privacy, right to privacy of the people, how state can misuse the technology and affect the rights of the people. Okay, so including fundamental rights and human rights of the people. So similar kind of technology that is there in place, but it is not discussed in the mainstream media or even not part of public discourse. This is discussed in this article. National Automated Facial Recognition System. National Automated Facial Recognition System. Let us first understand about the basics about this particular system, NAFRS, and how does it work. Okay, so NAFRS, as the name suggests, it uses facial recognition system. Now this particular system uses, or we can say being used by police and law enforcement agencies, we can say, in India, to find, or as a part of, to criminals on the basis of technology, use of technology. This is the use. How does it work? So it works on this particular technology, so it measures different features of face of the people. Okay, like it measures the shape of the cheekbones, shape of the lips, the distance between forehead and the we can say chin. All these are measured, and it is collectively called as face print of the person. You can remember the technical words. It is collectively called as face print of the person, and these face prints are, we can say, scanned for finding that person or detecting that person, whether that person is that particular criminal or not. Okay, so this kind of technology is already in use in different countries. For example, US, UK, and even China uses this for by the law enforcement agencies to find the criminals here. Okay, so India is not one country, one such country that isolatedly using this technology. This is already in use, in use by developed and developing countries also. Now, after understanding this, risk and challenges associated. First and foremost risk is that there can be the error and bias that exist in this technology. Okay, because this technology uses the randomness in available data. Okay, so that means it gives the possible outcomes, not exact outcomes. It gives the possible outcomes from the available data. So that means there are chances of error. There are chances of error. So we can say that there are chances of false positive. There are chances of false positives, and that may result into innocent being arrested and implicated, right? This is how it is impacting the innocent people. The second thing we should understand here, the inherent bias may be there. So as we know that our criminal justice system or criminal system in India, it is overrepresented by minorities and lower caste. Okay, so majority of the criminals are represented from this community, and to some extent this technology may also represent such bias. Whatever the possible outcomes will be there, those outcomes will represent the people from these communities. So this is also to some extent wrong. Now, impact on rights to the right to the privacy. Now this is very important. We have to also understand that any, let's say, surveillance by state agencies, this is, we can say, impacting right to privacy of the people in whatever the, let's say, data that particular system is storing in its system, so that is affecting right to privacy of the people. Along with that, it disincentivizes independent journalism and right to assemble peacefully without arms. Why? Because whenever we are having the surveillance by the state, through that surveillance, the government may crack down on the journalists under the name of sedition, or let's say the restrictions, reasonable restrictions like security of the state, law and order situation. So for that purpose, it may take or cramp down on such kind of assemblies, peaceful assemblies without arms. So civic rights of the people are also affected here, right? And finally, we should analyze this from the Puttaswamy judgment of the Supreme Court. This particular system fails to qualify three tests put forward by Supreme Court in Puttaswamy judgment as a reasonable restrictions. Okay, right to privacy is fundamental right under Article 21 recognized by Supreme Court in Puttaswamy judgment. But it also says that though there can be reasonable restriction on that right to privacy, but they should follow or satisfy three tests. Which are three tests in Puttaswamy judgment? So these tests are: first, test of legality, test of legitimacy, and third is test of proportionality. Let us understand how this particular system is not satisfying all these three tests. First, test of legality. Surely any kind of reasonable restriction that should be enacted by the law of the parliament. Okay, so this test of legality is failed here. Why? Because this national automated facial recognition system is not enacted through any law of the parliament. Rather, it is just passed or approved by the union cabinet. First thing, so it fails test of legality. Second thing, test of legitimacy. That means there should be legitimate state interest involved. So for example, security of the state, or threat to peace and law and order, or threat to friendly relations with the foreign country. So this is legitimate objective, and in this particular case, such kind of legitimacy is not satisfied. Why? Because there are chances of misuse of this particular system, and misuse, abuse of power is not legitimate, we can say, interest here. And finally, test of proportionality. Whatever the actions which are resulting into as a part of reasonable restriction, they should be proportionate. But here, any kind of mass surveillance is not at all proportionate to find any one particular criminal. Okay, mass surveillance is resulting into lack of right to privacy of n number of people, while to detect one particular or find one particular criminal among those masses. So to some extent it is not following this particular or satisfying this test of proportionality also. Okay, this is very important analysis. So as a part of way forward, what we can say that at present, first thing, there should be moratorium on this particular system unless and until the law should be passed to enact this particular system. That means there should be legal system established, and along with that there should be appropriate guidelines on how this particular system is implemented. So that means whatever the law implementing agencies are there, they should be held accountable for use of this system. Okay, so in this manner we can write the way forward. Now, what kind of question we can expect? Without accountability and oversight, facial recognition technology has strong potential for misuse and abuse. Analyze or critically analyze, such kind of command can be there. Whatever the discussion we had just now, you can add in to that answer. Any question? Your voice is, yes, tell me.
This system may have cyber attack to the public privacy data.
Yes.
It
So,
is a major problem.
yes, major drawback is that because at present we do not have personal data protection law in place. It is still a bill, and recently the committee got extension to analyze this bill. Since 2019 the committee is still analyzing this bill. There is no final view yet. So the urgent need as a part of way forward, you can write down here that there is need of personal data protection law in the country. Right? Yes.
This technology is also easy to access with other data from other link.
Yes, surely they will have the biometric data linked with this system. This is being already used. Okay, so that's why always talk about a data protection bill, data protection law to protect the data of the people, right to privacy of the people. Whenever we are using such technology, be it artificial intelligence technology, or we can also mention about this facial recognition system, criminal justice. Yes, any other question? Okay. Now moving on to next article, climate change, a catalyst for Arctic cooperation. Now this article is talking about the climate change that is happening. Recently IPCC report was released. It also talks about in future we may expect ice-free summers in Arctic region or Arctic Ocean. Such kind of impact may happen, and therefore the writer is saying that all countries adjoining the Arctic Ocean, they should come forward, cooperate with each other to protect the fragile ecology of Arctic Ocean. Okay, so let us first understand which are these countries as a part of Arctic Council. From prelims examination, this is important. So Arctic Council, this was formed in 1996 as a part of Ottawa Declaration. So as to have sustainable development and environment protection in Arctic region. Now which are these 8 countries as a permanent member of Arctic Council? Yes, 3 countries, US, Canada and Russia. Okay, so 2 from North America, 1 from the Eurasia region, Russia, and remaining 5 countries are from Scandinavian countries. All these countries are having their territory in the Arctic Circle, that is beyond 66.5 north. Okay, so which are these remaining 5? First Denmark, we can say second Iceland, third Norway, fourth Sweden and fifth Finland. So this is how 5 Scandinavian countries, and remaining is US, Canada and Russia. Okay, so remember the names because UPSC is asking questions about the members of international organizations or regional organizations. Last year there was question in G20 members. So you should remember them. Apart from these permanent members, there are total 13 observer members, and in 2013 India got such observer status. Okay, so in 2014 or 15 such question was asked in GS1 paper. Recently India has increased, let's say, interest in Arctic region, especially regarding the resources of Arctic region and the geostrategic importance of Arctic. Finally, Arctic Council is having secretariat in Norway, Tromsø. Okay, this is factual information you should remember about Arctic Council. Now, after understanding Arctic Council, let us understand the security concerns in Arctic Ocean region. Security concerns. Now we know that since fall of USSR, 1990s, there is one superpower, USA, but later on what happened is in 2007, Russian explorers in Arctic region or Arctic Ocean, they established their flag there, and such concerns were raised after 2014 when Russia had some kind of military aggression. For example, it annexed Crimea region of Ukraine. In future, the Scandinavian countries, small Scandinavian countries which are allies of NATO led by US, so they were concerned about this security in the Arctic Ocean region. Okay, so especially the Barents Sea. The Barents Sea is located here, this part. And this Barents Sea is being considered as strategically located for Russia to launch any kind of sea-based attack or maritime attack to these NATO allies in this region. Okay, Barents Sea. Fine. So that's why the security concerns are raised by NATO allies, especially Norway is much concerned there in that region. Now, after understanding this, the impact of climate change should be also understood. Recently, IPCC 6th assessment report is released, and it talked about the impact of global warming on the ice cover in Arctic Ocean. Yes, Arctic is warming nearly twice as fast as the rest of the planet. At the same time, Arctic is likely to begin experiencing ice-free summers within next decade. And at the same time, by the end of the century and mid-century, there can be complete ice-free summers for Arctic. At the same time, geopolitical and strategic aspects are also involved, especially for Russia and China. How? First thing, energy security. You should be aware about the possible hydrocarbon reserves in Arctic Ocean. Hydrocarbon reserves including mineral oil and natural gas. We know that basically Arctic Ocean is having extensive continental shelf of Russia. But it is ice covered at present. And Russia wants to explore those mineral oil and natural gas resources there. At the same time, China is also having some kind of interest there. What is that? The alternate trade routes. At present, China is having the trade with European countries through Indian Ocean region, Strait of Malacca, and then the Suez Canal, and then it is reaching to European countries. When there will be opening of trans-Arctic trade route, okay, when there will be melting of the Arctic Ocean, and there will be, let's say, sea route opened from the northern side of Russia, it will be beneficial for China for trade with European countries. So in this manner, the economic and strategic aspects are involved, especially favorable to Russia and China. That's why these two countries are aligning with their interest in Arctic Ocean region. Though China is not having any kind of direct boundary or the region, territory in the Arctic Circle. Okay, so you should be aware about this aspect also. Now this is beneficial to some extent for India for energy security. India's interest, first thing you should also discuss here, India's interests. So what India promote there in Arctic Ocean as an observer member? First thing, that's sustainable development of region. Whatever the resources are there, they should be harnessed, if any, in future on sustainable basis and on equitable basis. That means those countries who are not having the territory in Arctic Ocean, they should be having access to the resources also. Like Antarctic. Antarctic is global common. In the similar manner, Arctic should be also declared as global common here for equitable harnessing of the resources. Second thing, we should understand India's energy security. for that purpose also India is showing its interest, especially for hydrocarbon reserves in that region, right? And third thing, especially again the trade between Russia and India. At present there is land route, but if there is let's say opening of maritime routes, Russia will have the maritime route from the northern side to India. So this is also important. And surely finally you can say that the climate aspect, climate and research. We know that India is having research centers in Arctic Ocean. Okay, and for that purpose this is important. From climate perspective also this is important. India promotes, let's say, climate actions at global level, and for that purpose India is saying that Arctic should be protected from impact of climate change. Fine. So in this manner you should discuss. So as a way forward you can say that all countries should unite together and reduce the impact of climate change on Arctic Ocean and avoid any kind of militarization in the Arctic region. Okay, so any kind of provocation, militarization should be avoided. They should unite together to protect Arctic Ocean and its resources. Okay, any question? Now, Modi Putin discuss crisis in Afghanistan. There was telephonic conversation between the leaders, and the outcome of this conversation is that two leaders agreed to set up permanent bilateral channel on the issue arising from the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. This is good development because to some extent India had been sidelined by Russia, China and Pakistan in discussing the peace talks in Afghanistan earlier. So Russia is showing interest in having such talks with India, bringing India in the multilateral, let's say, talks. Now, among the particular areas of concerns were ensuring regional security, countering radicalization, spread of terrorist ideology and proliferation of drugs as consequence of developments in Afghanistan. Okay, so these topics were discussed between 45-minute telephonic conversation. Now, on the other, let's say, sidelines, there was meeting between national security advisors of 5 BRICS countries, and they discussed some of the important issues. The outcome is they reviewed regional and global political security scenario with particular reference to current developments in Afghanistan, Iran, West Asia, Gulf, emerging threats to national security such as cyber security. These were the topics discussed. At the same time, these representatives adopted and recommended BRICS counter-terrorism action plan. This is important development because in next month there will be BRICS leaders summit hosted by India, or we can say that the chair or president is India this year, and we may expect adoption of BRICS counter-terrorism plan in that summit here. Okay, so this is good thing, but on Afghanistan there do remain differences within the grouping, with China and Russia broadly aligning on their positions. Okay, in BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So China and Russia on Afghanistan, they align with having their own interest, but there is some kind of differences between India and Russia and China on the Afghanistan issues. Okay, so this is the outcome of the meeting. From international relations, we will have follow up further later. Now, Academy Awards for Pillai Mishra. Yes, so in which languages they were awarded? So Sahitya Academy Award is given to Ashudhara Mishra and Omacheri and Pillai, so respectively in Odia and Malayalam literatures. Okay, Sahitya Academy Award is given since 1956, where the first award was given 1955. Okay, this Sahitya Akademi was established in 1954 and since 1955 this award is given annually to the writers with most outstanding books of literary merit published in any of the 24 major Indian languages recognized by Sahitya Akademi. Among these 24, 22 are listed in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. Plus 2 other such languages are also considered and recognized by Sahitya Akademi. Okay, so you should be aware about this. 1 lakh prize rupees and a, let's say, plaque is given to the awardees here. Fine. So 2 such awardees, one in Odia language, second is Malayalam language. The award is given this year. This is important from prelims perspective. Now, Tamil Nadu launches a 100 crore urban employment scheme. Now, this urban employment scheme, name of the scheme is Kalaignar Urban Development Scheme. Okay, so this scheme is going to be implemented in urban areas on the similar line it is designed with the MG Narega scheme which is implemented in the rural areas at central level. Okay, so basically it is to improve the livelihood of urban poor. Now we know that in urban areas, urban poor had been severely impacted because of pandemic and the lockdowns in different parts of the country. So there has been demand to implement such urban livelihood protection scheme on the similar line with MG Narega that is implemented in rural areas. Okay, so this was recommended by one of the committee established by Tamil Nadu government headed by C. Rangarajan. Okay, now this is pilot scheme and the government would soon come up with guidelines providing wages under the scheme. The objective of the program was to provide employment to urban poor who had lost their jobs because of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, many such urban civic nature of the employment or jobs will be given for the activities such as desilting of water bodies, maintenance of public parks and other places. All these jobs, manual jobs will be given. Okay, at the same time, why such scheme is required in Tamil Nadu? According to Tamil Nadu government, urban population in Tamil Nadu is increasing. The present day share of urban population is 53% of the total population of Tamil Nadu, and that's why such scheme is needed. That's why the government is implementing such scheme. At present, at central government level or union government level, there is no such urban livelihood scheme. Okay, so there is rural livelihood, especially MG Narega scheme, and other such schemes are there like Deen Dayal Antodaya Yojana, DAY, NRLM is also there, but that is again for rural livelihood mission. Fine? Okay. So what could be the answer to this question? Yes, other students? Okay, so we have to find the correct statements about Arctic Council. Yes, let us see these statements. It was set up in 1996 by Ottawa Declaration. Yes, this is correct statement. Its secretariat is located in Russia. It is incorrect, right? It is located in Norway. So this is incorrect statement. India is given observer status in council. This is correct statement. India is given observer status in 2013. Okay, so 1 and 3 is the correct answer. So option C is correct here. Now, the second question, what could be answer to this question?
For option C, sir.
Yes, option A is correct answer. You can see a similar kind of question is asked by UPSC prelims in G20 for G20 members, right? So we should be prepared for such kind of questions. So at least you should be remembering any international or regional organization having 20 or less members at least, because if UPSC can ask for G20, it can ask for G7 or Arctic Council or any other such G4 grouping or any grouping. Okay, so yes, we have to find the grouping with Arctic Council members. Okay, so we had said that there are total 8 members, and in that 8, 3 are outside Scandinavian countries, US, Canada and Russia. Okay, and remaining are 5 Scandinavian countries. Okay, so simply from that we can understand, we can eliminate the groupings. For example, here there is UK. UK is not Scandinavian country. Okay, then there is France here, it is not Scandinavian country. Again there is UK here, it is not Scandinavian country. From that also, if you are not remembering the names, remember the broader framework. Okay, so which are these countries, from which areas they are having. At least remember that the countries are having some territory in Arctic Circle. So UK, France is not having their territory in Arctic Circle. In this manner you can use your logic and mark A as the correct answer. So yes, Canada, Denmark, Finland, US, they are having their territory. Okay, so that's why they are the members, so A should be the correct answer. Fine? Yes. So these were important developments. Any question?
So recently one of the news has been came up, sir. Ice caps, one of the big ice cap has been break from the Antarctic Ocean. Arctic Ocean.
Yes.
It may have to. Is there any possibility to stop that big ice piece to stop by chemical methods, sir?
Okay, so stop them breaking from the ice, those icebergs.
It's nearly 200 square meters.
Yes,
Square
yes.
kilometers.
See, breaking of the icebergs from the Antarctic or Arctic is common, but try to understand this happens every summer. Okay, but what is important that the ice cover that is declining. Okay, so that is major problem. The problem is the ice cover should not reduce. The ice melt is increasing year on year and the amount of ice is decreasing. That is the problem. I don't know about exactly whether the chemical method is that can be used. We need to check about that. Have you read somewhere about that?
No, sir. Chemically, we have the possibility to convert the liquid form to ice form instantaneously, sir. We have some of the chemical method. Is there any possibility to distribute the over that region where the highly dissolving the ice caps into liquid form? Is there any possibility to expose the chemicals on that particular area?
It may happen if suppose there is such technology is available, but we have to find that whether that technology is demonstrated yet, because there can be side effect also in that area.
Example, sir, some of the forest areas have been instantaneously fired. If they going to fire, sir, themselves only. In USA and some of the area, forest fires, sir.
Forest fires.
They will impose the chemical, cooling chemicals, sir. Within instantaneously, that area is going to be within the time it will be going to be cool, sir. At the same
Yes.
time, is there any possibility to convert the liquid?
There
form
may
to
be.
solid form?
Yes, there is technology, but we have to find that whether that can be implemented on such extensive level. Second thing, we have to also understand the possible externalities in the environment of Antarctic. Okay, because that is again fragile ecology. We do not know how it may impact on the ecology of that region. Okay, so before taking such measures, the overall impact in the surrounding region, in the microorganisms of the region, okay, there is still ecosystem Okay, even there is sub ice ecosystem, because the Antarctic is, we can say, it is large continent. Okay, so ice slabs are lying on that continent. We do not know how it will impact on the overall ecology of that region. Okay, so in future we can expect that after understanding or complete study of that technology. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other question? Okay, then let us stop. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.